What's up, desktoppers? In this video, I'm doing my preview and predictions for the 2023 Arnold Classic featuring the likes of Shaun Clarida, Big Ramy, Andrew Jack, Nick Walker, Samson Dauda, plus much more. And also let me know your predictions in the comments below. Give me your top 5, your top 3, or just the winner. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoy the video. What's up, desktoppers? Xavier Wills here for Desktop Bodybuilding, and before we get into this one, I want to encourage you guys, make sure you order the pay-per-view for this weekend's Arnold Classic. It's going to be a huge contest, heaps of good names, as you guys will see in this video. If you use Desktop 10, you'll save yourself 10%. The link is in the description below, and I suggest you guys get that ASAP so you don't miss out on the 2023 Arnold Classic. Also, there will be a watch party live here on Desktop Bodybuilding. I'll try to get some good guests on as well, IFBB pros, some guys maybe that you see on the podcast as well, if they're not actually at the contest. So let's get straight into this one, and I'm going to go from 10th all the way down to 1st. And in 10th place, I have Kamal Elgargni, former 212 Mr. Olympia. The dude just doesn't age. He really is incredible. He's 52 years of age, I believe, and he's looking fantastic. There are some areas, and there is a reason why I have him in 10th place here, and I think it's the back lat spread. I think that pose for him, there's not as much taper to his physique now. I think that will hurt him, but he will come in great condition, so I would not be surprised if he beats out 2 or 3 names in this contest and really sort of surprises some people in that way at least. In 9th place, we have Justin Rodriguez, who's actually looking really impressive in his recent physique updates, but I'm not sure if Justin's physique will be able to bounce back to the level he'll want it to be at to really be contending in a show like this. I mean, he looked fantastic last year, and if you can recapture that same form, what he looked like at the Boston Pro, he looked fantastic, where he came, I think it was third actually, second or third, somewhere around there. And, he's been competing a lot. He's done a lot of contests. I think he might be a little bit burnt out, but by his recent physique updates, he looks fantastic. So hopefully Justin surprises me and places up there and pushes up into the top 6. In 8th place, I have Patrick Moore. Now, this was a guy I was actually expecting to predict in last place, but by his recent physique updates, he looks like he's put on size, which is very, very surprising. But how will the legs look? We don't know, because he actually had a bit of an Achilles injury, I believe it was, and that could affect him training legs. If the legs are too far behind the upper body, then that could affect him. But his upper body is looking fantastic. Everyone said size was the thing that Patrick Moore needed. He seems like he's added size, so I'm very much looking forward to seeing him in this contest, and I have him in 8th place. In 7th place, I have Akim Williams. I was actually contemplating putting Akim higher in this contest because his recent physique updates, he's in great condition, and I cannot wait to see what he looks like on stage, because Akim Williams is a guy who's placed top 6 in the Mr. Olympia only a few short years ago, and I think he can recapture that form. The conditioning seems to be there. As long as he can bring enough of that size with that really, really good conditioning, the back will never be inside out shredded, I don't think, but we're seeing more condition there. And if we see more condition there, it means the side leg's going to be crazy, the front pose is going to be crazy, and he's going to look very, very conditioned overall. Very excited for Akim Williams in this contest, and I have no doubt that he could place top 6 in this one as well and knock off some really big names. In 6th place, I have William Bonac. This is a guy that, potentially should have won the contest last year at the 2022 Arnold Classic, where he looked absolutely fantastic. The only issue was, and it was mentioned by judges, that he had gyno. That's been fixed now. He's working with Chad Nichols for the 3rd contest season, or 3rd time at least anyway, because he worked with him for the Arnold Classic last year, where he looked fantastic in the Boston Pro. Then he worked with him for the Olympia, where he did miss. He came in 9th place at the 2022 Mr. Olympia, just about 10 to 12 short weeks ago. But it seems like they're trying to correct this. He looks in great condition once again, but will he be big enough? Because some of the recent physique updates, he maybe looks a little bit downsized in some ways and hasn't regained that same fullness. Chad Nichols actually featured on a podcast recently and mentioned 5 weeks out, William was looking fantastic, and because they haven't worked together that much, they sort of pushed it too far, and he believes he overdieted. Now, will he do the same for this contest? I have no clue, but seeing him about a week out, it looks like he might be a little bit on the small side compared to where he was a few weeks ago, which does concern me. I was actually going to predict William Bonac ahead of Big Ramy, but I'm just a little bit concerned based on the Olympia appearance, where Big Ramy was in 5th place and William Bonac was in 9th, and I do think Big Ramy will be improved. So for that reason, I have William Bonac in 6th. In 5th place, I have Big Ramy Mamdou Elsbaye. Now, the stem cells, are they going to work or not? Like, it's going to be very, very interesting to see. I think a lot of people, based on his change of posing, regardless, will say the stem cells have worked to a certain extent, and there'll be other people just saying it's a posing change. So I'm really going to analyze it, really going to look into it this weekend. So make sure you do tune in to Desktop Bodybuilding and our lives, and then all our post-show videos as well, because there's going to be a ton of that content going up. But yeah, I'm just very intrigued to see if Big Ramy, if it's more the structural issues that's holding him back. Like, his quad holes are apparently fixed. Chad Nichols has said it, so I don't know if that's been fixed directly with just stem cells, or if there's been some sort of filler plus stem cells. I don't know how that's working, but I haven't heard anything else used in those quads outside of stem cells. So obviously the back was a big issue. The way he posed it at the 2022 Mr. Olympia really left a lot to be desired, because he was closing that back in. He didn't have the whip. His triceps looked down. You know, as we know, he did an hour of cardio plus trained abs the morning of prejudging at the Olympia, which to me is insane. But that's obviously something he did. I don't think it helped his physique, but apparently it's something he does. So anyway, Chad Nichols says he probably won't be doing it for the 2023 Arnold Classic, so it'll be interesting to see how that look is. And also, he's not out there in Camp Menace this time, and people forget, Big Ramy has not won a big show, which means an Arnold Classic in Columbus or a Mr. Olympia, without working with Dennis James and going out to Camp Menace. So can Big Ramy get it done without Dennis James? I don't think so. I've got him in 5th place. In 4th, I have Shaun Clarida. I was actually going to predict Shaun a lot lower than this, but based on his recent physique updates, and plus the fact he's actually put on a fair few pounds, as you guys can see here as well. I mean, the photos look somewhat similar, but he is definitely heavier from what he said. I think it's about 8 pounds or 7 pounds or whatever it was that he posted up on Instagram. And you got to imagine, if Shaun Clarida is even coming in 3 pounds bigger, it's going to make a huge difference on a 5'1" physique. But Shaun Clarida really is the wild card. He could finish as low as 8th, I think, and he could finish as high as 1st. So, or as high as 2nd, let's say, somewhere around there. But I think he might be just a little bit too short to contend with some of these big guys that have great aesthetics, might have great condition, and then are also over a foot taller and probably 100 pounds, 110 pounds bigger, which is absolutely insane.
He got drug money, that's the expensive game. I got expensive shooter, he got expensive aim. You know it's loud Uzi, that's the expensive name. I'm going hard on my back to the wall. I was like, damn, just pumping and faking, there's no way they matching me up. Who really gonna stick me if we getting busy and we saying rap when it's ball? I won't even practice, I go triple platinum and they saying that was a walk. Hey, last time I rolled y'all to a rich mill when the kicker with some young niggas trying to tell them how this rich shit really feel. You ain't never been.
In 3rd place, I have Andrew Jacked. He's out there working with Chris Psycho Lewis, also being coached by Chris the Technician Aceto, which is Sean Roden's 2018 Mr. Olympia winning combination, essentially, in terms of coaching. So Chris Psycho Lewis is the trainer, Aceto is the coach in terms of like nutrition and supplements and all that sort of stuff. And I mean, he's working hard. We're not really seeing physique updates too much now. Andrew Jacked is an absolute freak. Like, when you look at where he turned pro at the 2022 Arnold Classic, from where he's come from there, like physique-wise, he's added a lot of muscle to that physique. So he is a complete genetic freak, and I think he will look very, very good at this contest. But could he be overworked, because he did a lot of contests last year? He's obviously done the Olympia at the end of last year, and now he's doing the Arnold Classic. Is this dude going to get burnt out? I don't know. It's some of those guys have those genetics, but and also working with Chris Psycho Lewis, he pushes him hard. So we could see one of two things from Andrew Jacked. We could see him, obviously dramatically improved in terms of conditioning from the back. Chris Psycho Lewis is very, very confident in that. Chris Aceto seemed pretty confident in that as well. Or are we going to see a burnt out Andrew Jacked where the muscle doesn't pop, it looks a little bit flat, and then he just doesn't look in any better condition because of that? Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. In 2nd place, I have Nick Walker. Initially, my pick to win this show, and no slight on Nick whatsoever, because he is a hard worker. He proves me wrong time and time again, and he should be odds-on favourite to win this show. 3rd place, Mr. Olympia at the end of last year. The next closest is Big Ramy, who finished in 5th, and then we had Samson Dauda in 6th at that Olympia. I just think the improvements that the likes of Samson Dauda, Andrew Jacked, and whatnot, they can potentially beat Nick Walker. Now, Nick Walker is going for a bit of a different look from a Mr. Olympia, as you can see posted up here by Who is the Best BB on Instagram. A comparison, 1 week out of the 2022 Mr. Olympia compared to 1 week out of the 2023 Arnold Classic, I'm guessing that's about 12 weeks apart. It definitely looks smaller. I mean, it's a different angled photo slightly, but same lighting, I believe. And yeah, he definitely does look a little bit smaller, but he does look more conditioned as well. Now, will that conditioning supersede that sort of little bit of a loss in fullness? Now, we know a lot of these photos are him flat. So he could be pushing the deplete a little bit harder and then filling up harder. Matt Jansen is a fantastic coach, and I have no doubt that he'll bring Nick Walker in very, very good. But will that be able to beat these taller guys that compare very well together? Like, could we see a Samson Dauda, Andrew Jack, Nick Walker last call out or something like that? I could definitely see something like that happening. And maybe even a big Ramy in there. It's going to be so interesting to see how that plays out. But I have Nick Walker in second just because I think that size is his strength. Now, obviously, conditioning is a strength as well, but these other guys have aesthetics, and I think Samson is getting that gnarly, hard muscle, and that's why I have Samson Dauda in first place in this contest. He's a guy that I know and have known through the years in bodybuilding very, very well. I've actually worked a little bit with Samson before, for that Arnold Classic that was going to happen in Brazil back in, I think, about 2020 or whenever it was, but that show was unfortunately cancelled, as you guys know, and yeah, I can confirm this guy is a genetic freak, and what he was doing was minimal in terms of supplements and all that sort of stuff. So the fact that he has so much room to move there, the fact that he's made such big improvements, like, it is mind-blowing. When you look at his physique from the 2022 Arnold Classic to now, it is night and day. He was sixth place at Mr. Olympia. Could have argued him being as high as fourth. I think Samson Dauda is an absolute freak. I think he's a future Mr. Olympia, and I think he'd win a string of these as well. So that's why I have Samson Dauda winning this contest. Yes, the glutes aren't going to be as hard, but the hamstrings are going to be hard. I think he's going to be in better condition than previous years, and I think he's going to be his all-time biggest as well. I'll try to get a weight on Samson Dauda and find out how big he is and let you guys know before the contest, but they don't weigh themselves until the very end, so looking forward to seeing how much he weighs and how much muscle he's actually put on, and if at all, between contests. But as we know, we did that video the other day, and then Nick Trigilli did one with bodybuilding and BS, and Samson's added in trends, so that's going to make a difference, at least somewhat. But anyway, guys, let me know your predictions in the comments below. I want to know your top 5, your top 10 if you want to give it to me, top 3, or just your winner alone. It's going to be a very exciting contest. Make sure you order that pay-per-view. Use Desktop 10. You'll save yourself 10% on the pay-per-view. The link is in the description below. Get around that. Also, I'll be doing lives all this weekend. I'll try to get a few IFB pros on, maybe a Martin Fitzwater. I'm not sure if Stanimal's going to the contest. Stan Delonju, Sean Roden's former training partner and IFB pro bodybuilder, but I will be getting some of these guys on hopefully and going live regardless, myself, all weekend during the prejudging and finals, and you can order that pay-per-view and watch along with me and enjoy my commentary or whatever you guys want to do. I'll be getting to your live comments and all that sort of stuff, so make sure you do tune in. So anyway, guys, that's it for me. So this is Desktop Bodybuilding. I'm Xavier Wills, and we are out.